We're all good. You're all still smiling. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to get that half a cup of frozen butter in your prep list. I told you to freeze it. If you have it just fridge temperature, you may want to just cut it and use a pastry cutter like this to cut it in. But if it's frozen, you won't need to use this. You'll just get a cheese grater and we will grate it in. So get a standard size cheese grater. Get your frozen butter out of the freezer. I'll do that right now with mine. We are going to grate our butter into the mix. So just grab your grater and start doing this. And what this does, this gets nice little small bits of butter all the way throughout your mix. I do this for all my biscuits. It's a trick that my wife taught me years ago, and it's brilliant as far as I'm concerned, because you get these small little frozen bits of butter throughout, which creates incredible tenderness throughout your biscuit. And when you heat butter, there's a liquid component to that. So that creates little pockets of steam. So you get extra flakiness in your biscuit too. So it's brilliant. It really is. The only thing you have to do, you'll see that it just gets collected on the top there. Just occasionally stop and stir in those frozen bits of butter throughout your mix. So they don't all just sit on the top, start to melt a little bit at room temperature and become one big lump. You don't want that, obviously. You're not going to take all the work to grate this just to have it form a big lump on the top of your dry mix, right? So just grate some, quarter cup, eighth of a cup at a time, whatever. Stop, stir it in, grate some more until that full half cup of butter is in your dry mix. Here's a great tip for you. Let's say you want to get up in the morning and you want to make cinnamon rolls. You think, oh my goodness, all this stuff I got to do, even though it's a biscuit cinnamon roll, I still have all this prep. What my wife does all the time, she'll create the dry mix the night before, and she'll get her frozen butter. She'll grate her frozen butter into the dry mix, and then she'll just pop this whole bowl in the fridge the night before. Then all she has to do is the last part of the recipe in the morning. It's so simple. She'll do that when it's just making biscuits as well. Just take the dry mix with the butter. All she has to do in the morning is just add the buttermilk, pop in the oven. It's really easy with the butter in there. And as long as you're putting in the fridge right away afterwards, you don't have to worry about it. It's not going to melt, right? Will it be still frozen little bits? No, but the reason why we have it frozen is so we can get it into little bits like this. As long as it stays cold afterwards, it doesn't matter. Watch your fingers at the very end, folks. You don't want to have little bits of fingernail or skin or blood going in there. That's not going to be very good. I know they sell a little gadget that you can use to pinch your ingredient, whether it's a carrot or a piece of cheese or your butter. I can't remember what it's called, but it's to save your fingers when you're grating something. If you're concerned about that, hey, look into it. Maybe you'll find it on Amazon or wherever. Great. Awesome. Clear off your grater and one little more go around to get those butter pieces coated with flour. So we don't have to panic with this yet because we've introduced no liquid. The butter is not liquid at this point because it's cold. So there's no liquid in there activating that baking powder. So we don't need to panic about it yet, okay? So if you didn't have it frozen, you want to do the pastry blender, the pastry cutter thing, you could do that. What I would do just from cold butter in the fridge, I would cut it into like 1 tablespoon bits and then just work it until you have smaller pea-sized bits of butter. And again, it's going to create that essence of fat all the way throughout, which is that tenderness all the way throughout, is going to have those little pockets of butter that are going to melt and create steam, giving you that flakiness. Same sort of idea, but I just think it's more consistent this way by having it frozen and you grate it in there. And always remember, folks, I'm never going to tell you to do anything unless I think it's worth it. If I think it's not worth it, trust me, I'll be the first one to tell you, hey, don't bother doing this step. It's not worth it. Not worth your time, not worth your effort. It doesn't make much of a difference. This, I think it makes a lot of a difference. So that's why we're doing it tonight, okay?